How are you guys doing? It is Saturday, September 19th, 2020, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and with this episode of The Elite, I'm going to take you through yesterday's games, and I'll also take you through what's going on today to let you know what's going on, just to give you a sense of where we stand right now in the world of sports. So as of right now I'm gonna take you through yesterday's basketball games and start from there. So last night, the top seed Los Angeles Lakers were able to beat the 3 seed Denver Nuggets out west to take a 1-0 series lead after beating them 126 to 114. Starting out with Denver off the bench, their forward Michael Porter Jr. would finish with 14 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists, shooting 3 for 9 in 29 minutes. Out of their starters, it was really just their elite young point guard Jamal Murray, who would finish with 21 points and 5 assists, shooting 7 for 12 from the field in 29 minutes, 3 for 5 from three, and making all 4 of his free throws. And of course, for the Denver Nuggets, yet another big performer for them would be their elite center Nikola Jokic, who would finish with 21 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He also added in a block as well, as he shot 8 for 14 from the field and 5 for 7 from the free throw line. Jumping out to LA to see what's going on over there, starting out with their bench players. Kyle Kuzma, their power forward, finished with 11 points and 4 rebounds in 24 minutes. Dwight Howard, the possible future Hall of Fame center, finished with 13 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals, as he shot 4 for 5 in 16 minutes. And Rajon Rondo, their point guard off the bench, would finish with 7 points and 9 assists in 22 minutes, as he shot 3 for 7 from the field. Out of their starters, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, their shooting guard, would finish with 18 points, as he shot 6 for 10 from the field in 30 minutes. Their GOAT level small forward, quite possibly the greatest player in the history of basketball, LeBron James, would finish with 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 12 assists in 31 minutes. He shot 6 for 11 from the field, and he shot 3 for 4 from the free throw line. And the big performance of the night will go to Anthony Davis, the Los Angeles Lakers elite power forward, who'd finished the game with 37 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists in 33 minutes, as he shot 12 for 21 from the field, 1 for 3 from three, and he made 12 of his 15 free throws. Like I said, the Los Angeles Lakers, with this win, now take a 1-0 series lead over the Denver Nuggets, and their next game will be on Sunday. But in the meantime, looking forward to what's going on today. At 8:30 tonight, it'll be Game 3 of the series between the Eastern Conference Finals between the 3rd seed Boston Celtics and the 5th seed Miami Heat. The Miami Heat currently lead that series 2-0, and they're looking to take a 2-0 advantage, or they're trying to turn a 2-0 lead into a 3-0 lead, especially over a very tough Boston Celtics team. They know that if they can get them in that position, then it's basically over. Looking out to what's going on with the Stanley Cup, Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final is tonight, as the Dallas Stars take on the Tampa Bay Lightning at 7:30 on ESPN. That's going to be a very big game, as both teams have played incredibly well to get here. And, I mean, their playoff paths have led for them to get here. For really quickly, jumping out to the WNBA bubble, just to let you know what's going on with the playoffs in that bubble, just to give you a sense. The next games that are scheduled will be tomorrow, as the Connecticut Sun take on the Las Vegas Aces, and the Minnesota Lynx take on the Seattle Storm in the WNBA semifinals. Jumping into yesterday's soccer performances, first starting off with the Bundesliga, the Bayern Munich Football Club was able to play their first game of the season against Schalke, Manuel Neuer's old club. Their first performance together ever since Thiago got moved to Liverpool, and of course since Leroy Sané has been their new forward. Serge Gnabry would score a hat trick for Bayern Munich. Leon Goretzka would finish the goal. Robert Lewandowski, their elite striker, finished with a penalty goal as well. Thomas Müller, their elite center attacking mid, would finish the goal. So would their elite young forward, Leroy Sané, and then Musiala, one of their young guys, was able to get a goal as well. Looking out to college football, because of course there's college football going on today. 11th ranked Oklahoma State is going to take on Tulsa at 12. That's a big game to watch. 7th ranked Notre Dame is going to take on USF at 2:30 on USA Network. The Clemson's going to take on the Citadel within their own state at 4 o'clock. 17th ranked Miami is going to take on 18th ranked Louisville on ABC at 7:30. As that's the only ranked matchup that's going to be played in college football today. And last but not least, I'm going to take you through yesterday's baseball scores just to give you a sense of what's going on there, because that season is almost over, and of course there are milestones that have been passed. So without further ado, I'm just going to take you through every single game that happened last night. First, I'm going to start off with the East, and I'm going to jump into Toronto to get us started. First off, the Toronto Blue Jays hosted the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Phillies were able to blank the Blue Jays 7-0. Their starting pitcher, Zach Eflin, would finish with a complete game. He would pitch all 7 innings, striking out 9 batters, allowing no earned runs. And then for Toronto, it would be Robbie Ray who got the start. Not much going on for him, but in terms for looking at the Blue Jays, their designated hitter Kevin Biggio did go 2-for-2 on the day, so he had a great game for the Blue Jays. Looking at to the Phillies, their elite right fielder Bryce Harper would hit his 11th home run of the season in the 5th inning. He would finish 1-for-3 with 2 home runs with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. Their third baseman Alec Bohm would go 2-for-3 with an RBI and a run. Their shortstop Didi Gregorius would go 3-for-4 with an RBI and a run. Their first baseman Phil Gosselin would finish 2-for-4 with an RBI and a run. And with this win, the Philadelphia Phillies would jump into their second game of the doubleheader and beat the Blue Jays 8-7 in a really tough, hardly contested game, which kind of went to the bullpens. First, starting off with the Blue Jays, their right fielder Teoscar Hernandez would finish 3-for-4 with an RBI and 2 runs. He had his 15th home run of the season. He was their only player that had more than 1 hit. Looking at the Philly, their elite designated hitter Bryce Harper would finish 3-for-3 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their former National League MVP Andrew McCutchen would go 1-for-4 with an RBI and a run. He did his 8th home run of the season. And then their catcher Rafael Marchand would go on to finish 2-for-3 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He had his 4th home run of the season. With both wins in this doubleheader, the Philadelphia Phillies are 26-25, and with both losses, the Toronto Blue Jays are 26-25 in the American League East. Jumping out to Miami for this doubleheader, the Miami Marlins hosted the defending World Series champs, and they were able to get blanked in their first game 5-0 in 7 innings. Feedy would get the win for the Washington Nationals. Eric Feedy would allow no earned runs, striking out 6 batters in 6 innings. Looking at to who hit incredibly well for the Nationals, their elite left fielder Juan Soto would go 1-for-3 with a walk on the day. Washington catcher Yan Gomes would go 2-for-4 with 2 runs on the day. And of course, their second baseman Luis Garcia would go 2-for-3 with an RBI and 2 runs on the day. Jumping into the second game, the Miami Marlins were able to destroy the Washington Nationals 14-3 in 7 innings. And yet another game that will go to just the bullpen. But of course, for the Nationals starting off, their elite left fielder Juan Soto would go 2-for-3 with an RBI and a run for the day. He was their only best hitter, he was their only really good hitter in the second game of this matchup. Looking at to Miami, first off, their left fielder Corey Dickinson would go 3-for-4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He had his 7th home run of the season last night. Also, just continuing on, their third baseman, Brian Anderson, in this game would go 3-for-4 with 7 RBIs and 3 runs. He had 3 home runs in the game. He now has 9 on the season. Of course, he would have a pretty big game as well. And looking out to the left fielder, Lewis Brinson would finish 3-for-4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He'd have a pretty big game. And with this series split, the Washington Nationals are 19-30 as the Miami Marlins are 26-24. Jumping out to New York, the Mets hosted the Atlanta Braves, and the Braves were able to get their 15th win of the season as Max Fried picked up his 7th win of the season. Max Fried would allow 1 earned run in 5 innings pitched, striking out 3 batters. Looking out to New York and in terms of how they did, for the Mets, their shortstop, Ahmed Rosario, would go 3-for-4 with an RBI and a run. Looking out to Atlanta, their elite center fielder, Ronald Acuna Jr., would go 2-for-4 with an RBI and 3 runs. As Ronald Acuna hit his 12th home run of the season last night. Additionally, their elite first baseman, Freddie Freeman, would go 3-for-5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Freddie Freeman had a pretty big game for the Braves as well. Their designated hitter, Marcell Ozuna, would go 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 15th home run of the season. Their catcher, Travis d'Arnaud, would go 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. He hit his 8th home run of the season. Ozzie Albies, their elite second baseman, would go 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit 2 home runs on the season. So now he's sitting at 5 on the season. And those are the home runs, but just continuing on. Their third baseman, Austin Riley, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. And their right fielder, Nick Markakis, would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. With this win, the Atlanta Braves are 30-21. They're the first team in the National League East to eclipse 30 wins. With this loss, the New York Mets are now 23-28 on the season. Jumping out to Boston, speaking of New York, the Boston Red Sox hosted the New York Yankees, and the Yankees were able to beat the Red Sox 6-5 in the 12th inning after a lot of good extra inning baseball. Both teams would score a run in the 11th, but then DJ LeMahieu's double would give the Yankees the eventual win over the Red Sox. For the Red Sox, Perez would get the start. Martin Perez would allow no earned runs in 6 innings pitched, striking out 7 batters on the day. In terms of how they hit, their shortstop Xander Bogaerts would go 2 for 5 with a run on the day. Their catcher Christian Vasquez would go 3 for 5 with an RBI and a run today. And of course, their second baseman, Christian Arroyo, would go 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs and a run, and his bat's been heating up. He has 3 home runs on the season. Looking out to New York, it would be Montgomery who would get the start, allowing 4 earned runs and a little under 5 innings pitched, striking out 7. Just seeing how they did. Their elite right fielder, Aaron Judge, would go 1 for 6 with a run on the day. Their elite designated hitter, Giancarlo Stanton, would go 1 for 3 with an RBI. Their center fielder, Aaron Hicks, would go 2 for 5 with 2 runs. Their elite shortstop, Gleyber Torres, would go 1 for 5 with a run. Their catcher, Gary Sanchez, would go 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run. And with this win, the New York Yankees are 30-21. With the Atlanta Braves, they have the same record along with them. And the Boston Red Sox dropped to 19-33 in the American League East with this loss. Staying in that division, the Baltimore Orioles hosted the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Rays were able to beat the Orioles 2-1. Tyler Glasnow picked up his 4th win of the season. For the Orioles, the losing pitcher would be Alex Cobb, as he allowed 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched, striking out 5. Tyler Glasnow for the Tampa Bay Rays would allow 1 earned run, striking out 10 in 5 innings. He would pick up his 4th win. He's now 4-1 on the season. For the Tampa Bay Rays, their designated hitter, Satsugo, will go 2 for 5 with a run. Their second baseman, Brandon Lau, will go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And basically with this, along with Austin Hayes' 2-hit game for the Orioles, he went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. He hit his second home run of the game. With this win for the Rays, they are now 34-18, as the Baltimore Orioles are 22-30. Really quickly, with that said, I'm going to jump out into the Central, starting off with the Pittsburgh St. Louis doubleheader. In the first game of this series, the St. Louis Cardinals were able to beat the Pirates 6-5 in 7 innings, and a bullpen matchup that kind of went pretty long, but of course it was a great game fought out between the two. Starting out with Pittsburgh, the only player that would have more than 1 hit was their catcher, John Ryan Murphy, who would finish 2 for 4 with a run on the day. Additionally, their third baseman, Brian Hayes, would have finished a couple RBIs on the day. Looking out to St. Louis, in addition to Carlos Martinez's start, their elite first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. As he went on to have a pretty good game as well. Their future Hall of Fame catcher, Yadier Molina, would go 2 for 3 with 2 runs on the day. Going on to the second game, the St. Louis Cardinals would go on and beat the Pirates yet again. They beat them 7-2. Ponce de Leon would get the start, as Miller would get the win. Looking out to the Pirates, their left fielder, Brian Reynolds, would go 2 for 3 in the second game, finishing with 2 RBIs on a run. He was their main performer. He had his 5th home run of the season as well. Looking out to St. Louis for this game, first of all, their elite designated hitter, Paul Goldschmidt, would go 1 for 2 with a run on the day. And their center fielder, Dylan Carlson, would go 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a run. He had his 2nd home run of the season for the St. Louis Cardinals. With both wins in this doubleheader, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 24-24, and with both losses, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 15-36. Jumping out really quickly to Detroit, the Detroit Tigers hosted the Cleveland Indians and lost 1-0. Zach Plesac will get his 4th win of the season, as he would pitch for 7.2 innings. He would allow no earned runs. He strike out 11 batters. For the Tigers, they pitched incredibly well too. The only RBI on the game would go to Francisco Lindor, the elite shortstop for Cleveland, who finished 0 for 2 with 2 walks as well. And their third baseman Jose Ramirez would go 2 for 4. Looking out to Detroit, their center fielder Victor Reyes would finish 2 for 4 on the day. But with this win, the Cleveland Indians are 28-23, and with this loss, the Detroit Tigers are now 21-29. Jumping out to Cincinnati, the Reds hosted the Chicago White Sox and were able to beat them 7-1. Molly would pick up his second win of the season. He would allow 1 earned run in 5.2 innings pitched, striking out 8 batters. For Chicago, their second baseman Madrigal would finish 2 for 4 with the only run of the game. Looking out to Cincinnati, their possible future Hall of Fame first baseman Joey Votto would go 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. Joey Votto would have a pretty good game for them. He'd be the only player for the Reds that would have more than 1 hit. But of course, their designated hitter at Jesse Winker would finish 1 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. And with this win, the Cincinnati Reds are 26-26, and with this loss, the Chicago White Sox are 33-18. Jumping out to Milwaukee, the Brewers hosted the Kansas City Royals and beat them 9-5. And get another game that would be decided between both bullpens. For Kansas City, their right fielder Whit Merrifield would go 2 for 5 with a run. Their shortstop Adalberto Mondesi would go 2 for 4 with 2 runs on the day. Their catcher, Salvador Perez, would go 4 for 5 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs. He had his 7th home run of the season. Those are the main contributors for Kansas City. Looking out to Milwaukee, their elite left fielder, Christian Yelich, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. He had his 11th home run of the season. Just continuing on, their pinch hitting outfielder, Ben Gamel, will go 2 for 2 with 2 runs. Their first baseman, Jed Yorko, will go 2 for 3 with 2 runs. Their shortstop Orlando Arcia would go 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs. He had his 4th home run as well. With this win, the Milwaukee Brewers are 24-26, and the Kansas City Royals dropped to 21-30. Moving out to Wrigley, the Chicago Cubs were able to beat the Twins 1-0 in Kyle Hendricks' 6th win of the season. The only run would come in the first inning off of a Wilson Contreras RBI single. Looking out to Minnesota, first off, their starting pitcher Rich Hill would pick up his second loss. He's now 2-2. He would allow 1 earned run in 7 innings pitched, striking out 5 batters. It would be Kyle Hendricks picking up the win for Chicago. He'd allow no earned runs in 10 strikeouts in 8 innings. And for just looking out to how both teams hit, for the Cubs, their elite third baseman Chris Bryant would go 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Their catcher Wilson Contreras would go 2 for 3 with the only RBI of the game. Their elite shortstop Javier Baez would go 0 for 3. And with this win, the Chicago Cubs are 31-20. With this loss, the Minnesota Twins are 31-22. And without further ado, I'm going to jump out to the West to finish out yesterday's games. Starting out in Houston, the Arizona Diamondbacks were able to take on the Houston Astros and beat them 6-3 in Zach Gallen's 2nd win of the season. He would allow 1 earned run, 3 runs total in 6 innings pitched, striking out 6 batters. Zach Greinke, possible future Hall of Famer for the Houston Astros, would get the start. He would allow 3 earned runs in 5 innings pitched, striking out 9 batters. First off, for Houston, their elite second baseman, Jose Altuve, would go 1 for 3 with a run on the day. Their left fielder, Michael Brantley, would go 2 for 4. Their designated hitter, Kyle Tucker, would also go 2 for 4. And jumping out to Arizona really quickly, their first baseman, Christian Walker, would go on to finish hitting 2 for 4 with a run on the day. The right fielder, Cole Calhoun, would go 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs. He had 2 home runs of the day. He now has 14 on the season. With this win, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 20-32, and with this loss, the Houston Astros are now 25-26. Jumping out to Colorado, the Rockies hosted the Los Angeles Dodgers and got completely, I wouldn't say demolished, but 15-6 is a pretty good win for the Dodgers, I mean. Looking out to Colorado, their elite third baseman, Nolan Arenado, would go 1 for 3 on the day. Their center fielder, Kevin Pillar, would go 2 for 4 with 2 runs. For the Colorado, their first baseman, Josh Fuentes, would go 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He had his 2nd home run of the season. Jumping out to LA, just to see how they did, their elite right fielder, Mookie Betts, would go 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 3 runs. He would have a pretty big game for him. Their shortstop, Corey Seager, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their left fielder, Chris Taylor, would go 2 for 6 with 3 RBIs and a run. By the way, Mookie Betts hit his 16th home run of the season in the sixth inning. I didn't mention that initially. But also their elite center fielder, Cody Bellinger, would go 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 11th home run of the season last night. Their third baseman, Edwin Rios, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their second baseman, their rookie Gavin Lux, will go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his third home run of the season last night. And their catcher, Austin Barnes, would go 2 for 3 with 2 runs on the day. Big hitting day for the Dodgers. With this win, they're now 37-15, and with this loss, the Rockies are 22-28. Speaking of LA, I'm going to jump to Anaheim as the Angels hosted the Texas Rangers and beat them 6-2. This would be yet another game that would be settled in the bullpen for Texas, but for the Angels, it'll be the first win of their season for Jaime Barria, who would allow 2 earned runs in a little over 6 innings pitched, striking out 8 batters. Looking at the Texas, their shortstop, Anderson Tejada, will go 2 for 4 with a run on the day. And their designated hitter, Calhoun, would go 1 for 3. Willie Calhoun would also have 2 RBIs on the day for the Rangers, both of their RBIs. Looking out to the Angels, first off, their GOAT-level center fielder, Mike Trout, would go 1 for 4 with a run on the day. Anthony Rendon, their elite third baseman, would go 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs on the day. Their right fielder, Taylor Ward, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI on the day. And their future Hall of Fame designated hitter, Albert Pujols, would hit his 661st home run in his career last night, passing Willie Mays for sole possession of the fifth most home runs in MLB history. He finished 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He had 2 home runs, by the way. He now has 6 on the season, and with this win, the Angels are now 22-30. With this loss, the Texas Rangers are 18-33. Jumping out to Seattle, the Mariners host the San Diego Padres, and the Padres are able to beat them 6-1. Chris Paddock would earn his 4th win of the season. He's now 4-4. He would allow no earned runs in 6 innings pitched, striking out 3 batters as a whole. And then for the Seattle Mariners, their only big performer on the offensive side was Evan White, their first baseman, who finished 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run, who hit his 6th home run of the season in the 8th inning. For San Diego, their elite shortstop, Fernando Tatis Jr., would go 0 for 4 with a walk on the day. He struck out 3 times. Their elite third baseman, Manny Machado, would go 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs. He would hit 2 home runs on the night. He now is 16 on the season. Those would be their 2 biggest performers, and with this win, the San Diego Padres are 33-19, and with this loss, the Seattle Mariners are now 22-29. And without further ado, going out to the last game of the West, I'll go and show you what's going on out there. The Oakland A's hosted and beat their crosstown rivals, the San Francisco Giants, 6-0. Bassett would pick up the win for the Oakland A's. Chris Bassett would allow no earned runs in 6.2 innings pitched, striking out 7 batters on the whole on the day. And then in terms of how they hit as a team, their designated hitter, Tommy La Stella, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI. Their shortstop, Marcus Semien, would go 1 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their first baseman, Matt Olson, would hit his 14th home run of the season as he went 1 for 4 with 3 RBIs on the day. With this win, the Oakland A's are 32-19. With this loss, the San Francisco Giants are 25-25. That's everything that happened yesterday. Here's a quick glimpse into the pitching matchups that you can look forward to today. And because it is Saturday, there's going to be a couple of earlier games, but of course there's still a good amount to look forward to. Kevin Gausman's looking to get his 4th win for the Giants as they take on the Oakland A's at 4:10. Hyunjin Ryu's looking to get his 5th win for the Toronto Blue Jays as they take on the Phillies at 6:05. Tristan McKinney's going to take on Spencer Turnbull as the Indians play the Tigers at 6:10. The defending champs, Washington Nationals, are going to take on the Marlins as Patrick Corbin looks to get his 3rd win of the season against Pablo Lopez. Kwang Hyun Kim is looking to get his 3rd win of the season for the Cardinals as he has a sub-1 ERA, and the Cardinals take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. I imagine his ERA is not going to go up by that much. Going out to New York, the Ian Anderson, the young Braves up-and-coming phenom starting pitcher. He's 3-0, looking to get his 4th win against David Peterson of the New York Mets at 7:07. Keep on going. Los Angeles Dodgers GOAT-level pitcher Clayton Kershaw is going to take on Chichi Gonzalez as the Los Angeles Dodgers take on the Colorado Rockies at 8:10. I'm just continuing on. Lance Lynn's looking to get a 7th win of the season for the Texas Rangers as he takes on Andrew Heaney and the Los Angeles Angels at 9:10. And the last game of the night will be between Mike Clevenger and the San Diego Padres and Justice Sheffield and the Seattle Mariners. But with that said, I really appreciate everyone for listening to all 24 minutes of this piece. Once again, it is Saturday, September 19th, 2020 out here in this quarantine. I hope everyone enjoys all the sports that are there to offer today. But with that said, once again, thanks for hearing my piece. I hope all is well, and peace out.